Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of App Growth Talks, series of interviews with mobile industry leaders, influencers, and experts on mobile app growth. And I want to introduce my special guest today. It's Paul Davey. He's a senior mobile marketing manager at AutoTrader UK. Hi, Paul. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Lena. Really pleased to kind of be here and looking forward to kind of talk through kind of AutoTrader and all things kind of SplitMetrics as well.
Yeah, we'll talk really interesting things since Paul has really extensive expertise on mobile app growth, retaining users, acquiring new ones. So stay in the loop. So let's start. So Paul, AutoTrader UK is basically a leading website and app for those who are looking to buy or sell a car and more. I think you'll probably share it later. So I wanted to ask you, how do you identify and target your ideal users, and what strategies have proved to be most effective in terms of driving installs and engaging users for the AutoTrader app? Could you please share?
Absolutely. So, and I think just for those who perhaps don't know AutoTrader here in the UK, AutoTrader actually started 40 years ago as a print magazine. So believe it or not, that's how people used to kind of buy and kind of sell, particularly kind of used cars here in the UK. You'd have to send your photo in with a little bit of copy. But obviously over the years, AutoTrader has evolved into firstly both a website, but more recently into an app. And we're now kind of the leading car marketplace app here in the UK. We have around kind of 3 million monthly active users, and that continues to grow very healthily. So that's really good news. But I think what's kind of been very pivotal to kind of the strategies around the app has been, the heritage that we've built up over those 40 years has kind of afforded us a degree of kind of trust. For people that are looking to perhaps buy their first car, I'll go back to my own experience. I kind of turned to my dad to kind of ask, well, how do I go about buying a car? Because I had no real knowledge of how to go about that. And I think it was his experience of kind of using AutoTrader many, many years ago that he said, well, why not kind of look at AutoTrader? And then, I then start to obviously get involved in kind of AutoTrader and look through cars as well. So I think there's a lot of kind of trust in the AutoTrader brand and kind of families having used them in years gone by, obviously passing that knowledge on to others, which is helping us a lot. I think particularly from the app perspective in terms of today, in terms of how we drive installs and engagement, choice is a huge kind of part of the success of the AutoTrader app. At any one point in time, there are over kind of 400,000 vehicles available to choose from on our platform. And that is just, from cars, bikes, e-bikes is a recent addition, motorhome. So there's a massive array of kind of vehicles on there. And I think what, has been particularly interesting is whether you are into cars and you love looking at cars and therefore you just like scrolling late at night through the latest Ferraris or Lamborghinis, that's clearly, driving a lot of engagement for our app. But also perhaps if you don't know what you're looking for from an install perspective, we're leveraging a lot of the behavioral data for people as they visit the site, perhaps the particular car make or model that they're looking for, to feed that into some adverts that then encourage them to come back in and see the latest stock that's becoming available. So I think both of those kind of areas have kind of worked very successfully for us.
Wow, what a story. 40 years, a really great story. And, I remember there were like catalogs with clothes similarly. So I believe this is how everything evolved. And it's really great you have such an extensive choice of cars. Being a shopaholic myself, I like when there is a great choice, although it's hard to choose, but it's better than a really limited choice. And I believe your users enjoy this great selection and they can always find everything they need. So that's really awesome. So when running campaigns targeted at your potential users already existing, or like someone who used to utilize your service, like executed in the past, for example, with your first car and your father and your family and friends, I believe. So are there any specific metrics you track to measure the success of those campaigns? And if so, how do you optimize them to achieve even better results in the long run? Like in the long.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think probably, again, just for those that don't know Auto Trader, we're relatively unique in that we don't actually kind of monetize directly on the platform. You don't actually buy your car from Auto Trader. We put you in contact with a lot of kind of car dealerships or private sellers who are looking to obviously sell cars. So therefore, our platform is built around kind of lead generation and getting eyeballs onto kind of car ads. So very much the two metrics that we optimize towards are ad views and kind of leads. And we leverage those quite successfully across obviously feeding them back into kind of selected ad partners. So from an ad view perspective, it's about obviously getting people to obviously look through those array of kind of car ads, and obviously, given there's 400,000 kind of vehicles at any one point on the platform, obviously we do want you to be, make sure that the ad views are kind of related to what you're looking for, because obviously you can get a bit overwhelmed by the amount of stock available. So again, making sure that we're serving the right car make or model, or if you after a particular color of car, or crucially a price point at this point in time, making sure that it's relevant to obviously where you are in your car buying journey and what you're looking for is obviously very important for us, and we leverage that quite a lot, particularly around kind of some catalog feeds. So we create some dynamic adverts that actually use live stock to create the little advert. Again, if we can relate that back to specifically what you're looking for, then obviously we know you're far more inclined to kind of click on that advert and land on the site. And then from a lead perspective, ultimately, I guess a lot of this is down to obviously the product. And when you're on a particular ad view, it's making sure that then you have a lead type, whether it be email, call, text, that is convenient for you to obviously then get in contact with the car dealership. They're kind of the two metrics that we really kind of optimize towards.
Yeah, thank you so much. So you're kind of connecting the dots, connecting those who are selling the cars and those who are looking for something specific. And that's really great that you mentioned relevancy. I think relevancy is basically the king today. It's about personalization, customization towards users' needs. And that's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Paul. And my next question is about advertising, acquiring new users. You know that Apple Search Ads, in my opinion at least, is becoming increasingly important channel for app growth. I would even say it's a must-have for now, for especially if your app is placed on the App Store. So I wanted to ask if you could share how you work with Apple Search Ads, as I know you work with it, to drive installs and probably increase, although the brand is already huge, as we all know, but how do you utilize this channel to also drive visibility for the Auto Trader app on the App Store and probably beyond?
Absolutely. And I think, you're perfectly correct. Apple Search Ads has become very important, again, has been for a number of years, but I think particularly over the last few years with some of the IDFA changes, I think we have seen Apple Search Ads, perform obviously a bit more better. So I think it has become, our most dominant platform ad partner for iOS, certainly. In terms of how we work with Apple Search Ads, I guess there's a couple of things, and I know for some people this will be quite interesting because it can be a little bit of a controversial topic, but we run quite a strong brand defense campaign. And again, a lot of people will think, well, aren't you just cannibalizing obviously the installs that you would get anyway? We've actually run quite a few experiments around brand defense, and we have seen that actually, yes, of course, we do cannibalize some of those installs that we would be getting anyway. But actually, we do find that obviously quite a number of our competitors kind of step into our brand keyword terms, and therefore we are at threat of those competitors stealing a number of our users as a result of targeting, you know, what is a very highly trafficked kind of set of keywords around Auto Trader. So, you know, we do a lot of work around obviously brand defense first and foremost, and that, you know, secures a degree of kind of visibility and installs for Auto Trader. But then on the flip side, obviously we do target a lot of competitive terms ourselves. We also have a lot of category terms, and I think particularly for Auto Trader, you know, we play in a lot of different areas. So you can buy a car, you can sell a car. We have electric, we have new, we have used, we have motorbikes, we have vans, we have trucks, we have e-bikes now. So there's a very broad array of kind of category terms that obviously we look to kind of leverage and target with our Apple search ads as well. And I know we're going to come on to custom product pages perhaps a little bit later on, but obviously that is a wonderful opportunity for us to now, you know, just target a selection of keywords with slightly different creative, rather than historically what has been obviously just one generic set of kind of screenshots. And probably the last point here from an Apple search ads perspective is we have started to experiment with some of the new formats as well. So we've been trying kind of the Today tab, and there's the new kind of search tab, which is kind of, you know, some degree of success there, particularly on the search tab. I think we've seen some better results. But again, it's great to have these new visibility opportunities from Apple where we can try different things to get people to install the app.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Paul. And I know that that's great that you are experimenting, trying new things out, new placements. And I know that in some cases this might lead to a kind of halo effect when, you know, you are here and you are there, so you can beat your competitors this way. And yes, like Thomas Petit once said, if you don't like grab this opportunity, your competitors might just bite this piece of pie. Piece of your traffic, basically. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, we will discuss custom product pages a bit later, but really cool. You have such a diverse functionality for the Auto Trader app, so it would be a sin not to like highlight all of them. And custom product pages, I think they provide this chance. And Paul, you are our customer, you know, you are taking advantage of SplitMetrics Acquire. So of course, I can't but ask, what's your experience with SplitMetrics Acquire, and which features do you use most often? Could you probably reveal on the bid strategy? I know that you are an active user of this feature.
Yeah, exactly. So I think perhaps if I go back to life before SplitMetrics, so we were leveraging kind of obviously install data. Yes, we have an MMP in the likes of kind of Branch, and the data is fed into Branch for us to optimize towards. But it's very kind of manual, very intensive. You need a lot of time and effort to kind of collate all that data together to kind of really understand how to kind of optimize for any of the given keywords or campaigns that obviously you're running. And you know, that just wasn't, we weren't in a position where we could do that on a daily basis, which is perhaps one of the learnings we've had when we started to use SplitMetrics, that these things chop and change so regularly that you need to have some sort of platform that is able to quickly adapt to changes in share of voice, or, you know, other things that are going on in the platform. So I think, you know, life before SplitMetrics was quite challenging. And I think, you know, once we've onboarded SplitMetrics and got up to speed with SplitMetrics, what's been very clear for me is just it has been an extra pair of hands to kind of support the optimization of those campaigns. And it is just simply, you know, I don't have the time to kind of do that any other way. You know, we've really been leveraging, obviously, a lot of the automation tools in SplitMetrics, which has been very, very powerful for us to kind of weed out non-performing keywords in particular. And then I think from a bid strategy perspective, what has been, again, very significantly kind of game changing, and I'll share some results in a minute, is now we have the ability to, again, stitch together the MMP data from Branch with SplitMetrics and we are now able to optimize towards either ad views or leads, and that just totally has changed the game for us. So, in the past, if there was a particular competitive term that we were optimizing towards from an install perspective, we didn't necessarily always know if it was great at then converting into kind of leads. But now that we have that data, we can truly see that actually, okay, a keyword that costs 10 times more to kind of generate an install, but is kind of 20 times higher in terms of cost per lead, we can now kind of justify the extra spend that we're putting on that, because it's clearly the quality of traffic coming in from that particular keyword is much, much higher. So I think that's been very important for us. And then just looking, the results that we've had, I mean, again, if I take the last 12 months versus the 12 months prior to SplitMetrics, our downloads are kind of up 15%. Our spend, interestingly, is actually down 21%. So we're actually saving a lot of money. Cost per download is down 25%. And again, I think another metric that's quite interesting for me is tap-through rate is up 51%. And again, I think this is quite a strong reflection of the fact that we were just bidding on keywords that just weren't performing, weren't doing anything for us, but other than just, they were getting an install, but clearly the quality of traffic on that install wasn't very good. So by removing a lot of those non-performing keywords and focusing, on the ones that are performing and obviously increasing our share of voice, it's just made a tremendous difference for us. And yeah, I mean, those results, when I looked at them, yes, I was like, wow, I didn't realize they were quite as stark as that. So I think, that really shows the strength of the overall kind of SplitMetrics platform.
Wow, thank you so much, Paul. Really impressive. Sounds really impressive, And you now can track the results down the funnel, right? The quality of traffic, how users further behave down the funnel. But again, congrats on these results. That's just really awesome. And tap-through rate of 50%, it's huge, because we are preparing Apple Search Ads benchmark report. Yeah, the conversion is really high across categories. It's more than 60%, but tap-through rate is is basically less. And you have really outstanding results. That's really great. Thank you so much for sharing. And my next question is about cooperation with SplitMetrics in general as a company. What are your impressions of working with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been really impressed with how SplitMetrics kind of go about things. And I think probably first out, it's probably fair that I give a shout out to Alina, because she has been very, helpful in kind of holding our hand through both the onboarding process for SplitMetrics, but also then just as a regular point of contact in helping us kind of optimize the platform and leveraging some of the new things that obviously SplitMetrics kind of launch. And, again, automation from an Apple Search Ads perspective was something totally new to us. We don't have that ability on the native Apple Search Ad platform. So again, holding our hand through that process, identifying where we would get most value in terms of the automated kind of activity we run, I think Alina was very, very pivotal in kind of helping us do that. So I think first and foremost, the levels of support that we've been provided have been very, very kind of welcome, and obviously we're very grateful for that. And then I think probably secondly, I think again, what's really impressed me has been the rate of product development from SplitMetrics. Constantly, every time I'm kind of talking to Alina, it feels like there's something new on the table and kind of being either tested or put live. And again, some of the examples, I know obviously bid strategy was one of the things that obviously landed. That's been very, very helpful for us to optimize towards kind of ad views and kind of leads more effectively. Also in terms of keyword identifying kind of new keywords, I think that SplitMetrics has spent a lot of time and effort in working with other partners to bring in that data. And I think just the way that those keyword opportunities are kind of now served to us, it's very simple and straightforward to identify the ones that are most relevant to Auto Trader, and for us to now apply those, as an exact match campaign or within an exact match campaign, I think is very quick and easy to just cherry pick those and move them across to obviously the campaigns and to start testing those. So yeah, I think those two things have really impressed us.
Thank you so much, Paul, for such a high assessment of our work. We really appreciate it. And of course, we enjoy working with you and with the AutoTrader app. I think we'll achieve even greater results together. Thank you so much. And also, thank you so much for participating in our app growth sessions. You are always a treasure trove, and you are sharing really interesting things. And speaking of that, let's now get back to AutoTrader. And we have touched that you have a really diverse functionality. And I wanted to ask for more detail on how you are targeting various categories of users and while highlighting this variety of services you have.
Yeah.
You've already discussed that you are utilizing custom product pages. So could you probably elaborate on the topic?
Exactly. And I think custom product pages is obviously the relatively new opportunity here that obviously, we have started to experiment with. Again, I don't profess to be expert on custom product pages, but again, we have thousands of keywords that obviously we are targeting with our Apple search ad activity. And historically, they've all been driving obviously through to the one app store and the one set of creative screenshots. And when you're having to talk about, say, all of those things that I mentioned before, used cars, new cars, electric cars, motorbikes, vans, buying, selling, it is virtually impossible to convey all of those within a handful of screenshots, let alone perhaps the first 3 screenshots, which we know are so pivotal to kind of the success of an app on the App Store. So I think now having the opportunity to obviously leverage some custom product pages across selected groups of kind of keywords has been a great opportunity for us. So we've experimented initially with particularly kind of selling keyword terms. So we've put some competitors together, category terms, generic terms. We've put those into a group of kind of selling keywords, and then we've created a set of screenshots that purely talk about our selling proposition. So and we've definitely seen kind of an uplift in kind of tap through rate. I think it was up around 12% last time I looked at it. So we can see that as a consumer, when you're searching for a particular selling keyword term, if the creative is talking about selling, obviously you're going to see people tap through a little bit more. So I think that has now given us the confidence to try even more custom product pages. And I think one interesting thing that I'm looking to try over the next few weeks, when we're actually in the process of launching dark mode, which taken us a little bit longer than we would have liked to get there, but it's something that a lot of our consumers ask for, is actually on our brand campaign, we see actually on our brand defense campaign, we see an opportunity to actually run a custom product page there that can highlight a new feature like dark mode. Because we obviously rank #1 for our own keyword, if we also obviously get the ad placement at the top, you effectively get 6 screenshots to obviously talk about something. And we're going to run a custom product page that will effectively promote dark mode to obviously our branded terms, and that potentially is seen by obviously existing users as well as some potentially new users. So I think these kind of new opportunities are something we couldn't do in the past, and I think they're very exciting in the way that we can kind of now engage new and existing app users.
Thank you. So you can create and introduce more features and promote them even more effectively, and that's really great. Let's see where it all leads, because everything is evolving at such a pace for now. So awesome. Thank you so much. And there are obviously some challenges almost almost at anything, and especially it can be tough when you are growing an app because the environment is highly competitive, and the times are kind of turbulent, I would say. So I wanted to ask you, what kind of challenges have you faced when growing the Auto Trader app, if you faced any, and how have you overcome them?
Yeah, exactly. I think in terms of kind of the key challenges that we've faced, I mean, again, Auto Trader is a marketplace app, and as a challenge that I face is obviously we don't have any kind of as such monetization within the platform, and a lot of our activity perhaps would benefit from some sort of transactional element to be able to kind of optimize towards. So that is, you know, in terms of, say, we optimize towards kind of leads today, but there's no kind of set value assigned against those. So I think it is always a little bit challenging for us to kind of understand what the return on advertising spend is when you don't have a transactional element to your app. So that's always been, you know, we have to really kind of look at kind of ad views and kind of leads. And yes, we do have kind of cost per ad view and cost per lead calculations, but it's kind of difficult to assign what the value is, particularly for ad views, because we do get a lot of consumers who just love looking at cars. They want to look at the latest Lamborghinis, Ferraris on a weekly basis, versus those that are perhaps truly in market to buy a car. So I think being able to optimize towards the different audiences has always been a bit of a challenge for us. But I think crucially, one of the things that we're doing internally is we now have a new customer data platform that is collating a ton of information about how users kind of behavior across the app. And I think now one of the big positive steps that we're taking is we're going to start to now build out audience groups based on their likelihood that they are genuinely kind of in market versus kind of actually just browsing the site. And obviously, if we can identify that you are truly, you know, in market to buy a car, then we can target you with slightly different, perhaps ad creative, versus perhaps those that are just kind of browsing the site and just love cars. Obviously, we want to monitor that group and try and understand when they are going to come back in market. Because the average kind of buying cycle is 3 to 4 years, which is very long for kind of any kind of buying product. But yeah, they're kind of that's the challenge that we face, is just trying to understand what our users are genuinely kind of in market to kind of do.
Wow, yeah, 3 to 4 years is a really long cycle. So this
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is also challenging. I totally understand. But I believe that yes, those who are browsing and now dreaming about a car, just looking at beautiful pictures, one day they have this money, and where would they go? Of course, to the Auto Trader. I'm sure 100%. And even now, when they are just browsing, I believe they are spreading the word about service, because they are sharing with their family, friends, or look at this. So yeah, it's really interesting, and that's great. You are monitoring this group of users, because there is definitely potential in them. And we've touched just a little bit the topic of new features, how you reflect them with custom product pages. So I wanted to ask, probably you would like to share what's new, what new we could expect from Auto Trader this year in 2024. What are your plans?
Yeah.
If that's not a secret, of course.
No, not at all. I think very excitingly, we are looking to kind of really dial up our new car kind of business and opportunities. So again, Auto Trader is very well established in terms of used cars, but there is a huge opportunity, particularly this year. We think there's going to be a lot of the potential stock availability, particularly electric cars. So for those who don't know, perhaps the UK car marketplace, there is a mandate here in the UK whereby the year 2035, all new cars that are sold need to be electric. So we are increasingly seeing more electric cars being sold here in the UK, more stock becoming available from manufacturers. So for us, there is a huge focus for us to become obviously the number one destination for kind of anyone looking for an electric car, whether that be to kind of help educate you, but also to kind of obviously help you buy a car. And we are looking to kind of support the industry with some new features that allow you to do more of the car buying journey through the Auto Trader platform. Ultimately, what we've seen through our data is that people still want to kind of sit in a car, they want to test drive a car before they purchase. I think cars at the moment, to go truly online is very challenging. I think people still are hesitant to buy a car without seeing it firsthand. So what we are looking to do is we are putting in things like finance agreements, the ability to kind of part exchange your car, the ability to kind of reserve a car. All of those features are now being added into the app, so you can complete a lot of the perhaps the paperwork heavy things that you would have to have historically done while you're sitting in a car dealership. We're now encouraging you to do those on the platform, and then fundamentally all you need to do is obviously get into that dealership and test drive the car, confirm you're happy with it, and then obviously you can purchase the car for that. So again, it's not true monetization, but it's obviously allowing the consumer to do a lot more of that car buying journey on the app itself. So I think that's a big focal point for us. And then from a specifically from a marketing perspective, I guess we're looking at some new channels in the marketplace as well. We've historically been very successful with Apple Search Ads, Meta, Google App Campaigns. Auto Trader has perhaps struggled a little bit to get into Gen Z and new drivers. So we're looking to leverage some partnerships, some of the new ad partners like TikTok, to see if we can particularly kind of dial up some advertising content to encourage those first-time car buyers to consider Auto Trader.
Yeah, when you mentioned Gen Z, TikTok was on the tip of my tongue. Exactly. And you're already considering that. Yeah. And the features are really great. I imagined that I would like to buy a car in the UK, and that's huge. That's really a lot that I can book this car for a while, so nobody could buy it before me. Yeah. And it's this could be a headache, and you are worrying that someone will pick this earlier than you, and this paperwork is hard. So that's really a lot for user experience, for the consumers. I think that would mean a lot. So congrats and good luck with launching this smoothly. That's really cool. And I think we've had a really interesting talk today. And wrapping up, I wanted to ask your vision. What really big trends do you see would be shaping the mobile industry in the coming years? Not this year, because it's in some kind of short term, could be. Sometimes it's a long term, sometimes it's short term. But for the coming years, what big trends could you name? What do you think?
I think probably the one that stands out to me, and certainly we're looking at this very closely, is obviously just we have a lot of first-party data. Yeah, again, for anyone coming onto the Auto Trader app and searching for a car, there's obviously car make and model, color, price range, the type of fuel that you want to use, the boot size. I mean, there was just a massive array of obviously data that any given user is looking for when they come onto our platform. And I think for us, it's about how can we leverage that data more significantly, not only across our own site. So as a user experience, the site becomes very kind of personalized to what you're looking for. We do some of that today, but I think how can we extend that out into some of our own channels? So push notifications, email, what can we do from an advertising perspective? I think particularly we're looking to obviously dial this up. And I think, given some of the challenges around obviously, IDFA, and obviously we've got the Google Sandbox, which is due at some point. I think being able to leverage this first party data and crucially getting people to obviously sign up for push notifications and email campaigns is only going to cement Auto Trader's position as being number one car marketplace app even further in the market. So, it's a ton of data, it's a lot of work, but I think that is definitely something over the next few years, we want to become even more successful at. And I think from an industry perspective, that is something that more and more apps are going to have to look at, is how do they leverage that data to encourage greater levels of engagement from their app audience.
Yeah, and how they get consent for that, like
Exactly.
how they persuade users
Exactly.
to provide it.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Huge thanks to you, Paul, for joining me today, for sharing your thoughts, insights, your plans at AutoTrader. Really amazing. I believe all of our listeners will really love it. So thank you so much, and see you at the next app growth sessions.
Thanks, Lena. Thank you.